Good evening and welcome to Dog Talk. I'm Dan Camilleri.
And I'm Laura McKillop. We'd like to start by thanking Enduro for their ongoing support in bringing you our weekly Q&As. Today, in this episode, we're fortunate enough to be speaking with Jim Luce from Coogee Kelpies.
G'day, Jim. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, feeling fine.
Feeling fine. That's great to hear, mate. And did some babysitting today?
Yeah. We on Wednesdays we usually babysit. They're twins, a set of twins, and they're 5-year-old.
Keep you busy.
Yeah. Oh, they're pretty easy now. They occupy their own mind pretty well.
Yeah.
Mate, for the people that don't know you, Jim, obviously Jim Luce. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you grew up, mate, and a little bit about that?
Yeah. I was reared on a small dairy farm at a place called Tallowood Point. It's only a forest there now, I think. But it's at the foot of the Dorrigo Mountains. Supposed to be the highest rainfall in the state in that area. And we had a couple of dogs there, but didn't know much about them. They were pretty ordinary dogs. But when I got married, we moved to Inverell onto a property, and I encountered sheep there, and I quite liked it. And I had to get myself a couple of dogs. The dogs I tried were ex-dogs from down the coast, and they were all Heinz breed, and they weren't very natural on stock. I got a good dog. He was a good paddock dog, but he wasn't very good in the yard. My first dog, and I had to learn off. There was no schools or that in those days. You had to. I just picked it up as I went along. And I remember a year at the first shed I was mustering for. He used to sit his dogs that smoked over that he'd rent and do a bit of work with his dog and sit his dog and pass it out, and I took him in the close paddock there and it up off him that straight and just picked it up as I went along, watching people that I thought were doing good things with their dogs, you know.
Yeah, and what kind of dog was that, Jim?
Pretty good.
What breed of dog was that?
Yeah, it was a collie. I think it had a bit of cross in it, but it was marked as a collie. Good big strong dog that it came off the. I think I paid $5 for it. Of one of the neighbouring properties there that had a reputation for a fair line of dogs. Yeah, he was a good dog. Yeah.
Can't even buy a beer for $5 these days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then we went down to Gunning in the southern tablelands there. There was 25,000 sheep on Gunning when I went there as overseer, and then I was netting the land for purebred Kelpie pups. They were $50 each. And Don Horton from Rugby, he was an ex-drover and a shearer, and they were very good dogs, and that's where most of my blood was a lot of Horton.
Yep.
I got Phil Creek Sam from Greg Carmody. Greg, a good handler. And he used to cheer for Graham Horton, and he was using Horton Squire, which was a very good all-round dog that Graham Horton, Don's son, had. And that's where I got Phil's Creek Sam. And he was a very good all-round dog.
Was he a bit of a handful, Jim?
He had a fair bit in him,
Yeah.
fair bit of fire in him. I remember, I think it was Nancy Withers said, "You'd be no good to me. I wouldn't handle him." He wanted plenty of work, and I had plenty of work, and
Yeah.
He was good at anything you put him to. And he was the first sire of the Coogee Kelpies. He only bred till he was a couple of years old, and he went infertile. But he bred to every bitch that went to him. A lot came to him, and a lot, and quite a few of them didn't go and pup. But and then I got Capri Minute. I got him as a pup of Chris Stapleton, and he was a very good dog, very tough little dog, and that gave strength to the cross. An exceptional crossing, a complete outcross, and a lot of good dogs in the southern New South Wales that had that bloodline in them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've mentioned two dogs there that we see in lots of pedigrees.
Yeah. They, especially after when Pat won the Kelpie trial, had a flood of bitches who wanted to come to him. But as I said, he went infertile. Got a few in, but he went infertile. I got him tested. They said he got a virus and his breeding system closed down. But it was unfortunate. But I had a few pups of his that turned out pretty good too. Michael Johnson, Melbourne Basil, and I had Melbourne Darky. They were brothers. They were both blind. And I see, talking about age of pups, when you should bail out on them.
Yeah.
Darky was 12 months old, and he wasn't doing much. I normally wouldn't keep him that long, only that he was a son of Pat's, and I'd give him on demonstration. I'd give him to a neighbour, and he returned him. He couldn't get him to work, and I said, "I'll give him to the spring, and if he doesn't, then I'll bail out of him." But he turned out to be very good. He won 2 state and national Kelpie trial.
Wow.
Lucky you held on to him.
Yeah, lucky I am. Something seemed to tell me to do it, yeah. Also I had Target of Chris Stapleton's and Capri Jim. I used to call him Punch. He was a very good dog too. So I had a pack of 5 very good dogs. I had another one, Capri Rex. He was by a minute, and he was out of assistant to Punch. He turned out to be, he won the champion of champions in the Kelpie trial. And he won 2 Kelpie trials. so I had a handy pack of dogs.
You did. Why do you think you were so successful with that particular team of dogs at that time?
Yeah, well, I line bred and just looking for an outcross that a quarter to make quarter of the mating. Bloodlines, dogs that sort of suited what I wanted, and just kept that quarter of an outcross in the line. But I, I got good service out of them and did a lot of work at home, and it took us to a few places. Took us to America, and then later on a dog, Peavendale Tim, who took us to Tasmania to compete over there and test against New Zealand. And so I was very lucky to get onto that breed of dog, and I had to work for them, which was a big thing with the Kelpie. And once you get that fair bit of work in, and they're very set in their commands, and that you can they competed just as well as the colleagues did for me later on.
Yeah.
And why did you make the shift to collies later on?
Well, I retired to out 100 acres there at Cowra, and I still had the Kelpie, but they were getting a fair age. And I didn't have much work. I only had in the end, a few training sheep, and I just found the collie. I tried them, and they went pretty well for me. I competed with 3 sheep with them. But as far as work, when you're working big numbers of sheep, the Kelpie is superior because you'll do the yard and mustering, and it'll do the shed work too. So you've got sort of 3 components in them.
Yeah, absolutely. And were there any collies that stood out for you?
They good?
Did you have any collies that stood out for you?
Yeah, I had one, I think they call it the Southwest Championship with a dog that Ballard's Tuck. And also there were one with a little white picture head. Yeah, they went well for me. I was placed at the state titles a couple of times with them, or a few times, mate. Won the novice there the last year. I competed with the young bitch. But I was just picking up dogs that were disregards, and that they turned out fairly well for me.
Yeah. And what dog was most influential to you? Was it Sam or a different dog?
Sam probably had a soft spot for him. He had, if he got the right sheep, he could run the top 3 sheep.
Yep.
You could draw sheep onto him and settle him down. He had a lot of feel about his work. Minute was a stronger dog, but probably never quite had the natural work that Pat had. Had a very good temperament, and he handled well for me. It was good. You got tough sheep. You're smiling when you had Minute out there.
Why? I know it's like obviously Phil's Creek Sam, but you've called him Pat a few times, and he's referred to as Pat. Why did he have two names there?
Yeah, well, that probably confused you then. He was registered as Phil Creek Sam, but I had a pup when we were kids. And we used to call it Pat. And before I got him registered, I think he was probably before he was registered, I'd called him Pat as a pup. And I sort of stuck with him.
Yep.
A lot of, I've always, I'm good at making nicknames, whether it's good or not, I don't know. Nicknames are, but yeah, and of course, Punch, his name was Jim, Jim, but yeah, I named him Punch, I don't know. I think then again before he was registered, but I nicknamed him that. Yeah, no,
And obviously, you didn't mind dogs with a little bit of punch in them. There's actually a question there, Laura. Did you want to ask that?
Yeah. The question is from Scott Oliver. He's asked, "What is your best techniques for handling hard-headed dogs?"
yeah, well, um, you, you you want plenty of work for them just to take a lot of that out of them, but um, they're I don't know whether he's put him on a rope at all. You can put him on a rope and get them to teach them their commands on a rope, and if they try to get away from you, you've got the rope on them, and you can give them a little bit of a jerk when they're doing the wrong thing. Um, that's about the best I can think of at the moment.
That's cool.
Get in their head a bit more, then, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, teach them to stop on the rope and walk into you on the rope. Teach them their sides, left and right on the rope. Um, that's good. Yeah, that helps a lot more. It's a bit hard when they're not listening, and especially if you're out with a mob of sheep, you usually get a bit of action. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well answered, mate. And you've obviously inspired a lot of people over your time and helped out a few people, some really good handlers out there. Was there someone that inspired you, whether it be trialing or dog handling when you were younger?
no, not really. As I said, there was no such thing as dog schools or training in my day, but I just picked it up of what I saw and what I liked other handlers doing. You don't see many that a lot of property owners and that some of them are pretty ordinary handlers, so you don't only see occasionally someone that's when you get along a bit that impresses you.
Yeah.
And
Were there many that did?
no, I probably had a few that there was a few that did, but I learned most of it probably myself trying to perfect things, and then when you start trialing that, you learn a lot more.
Yeah.
Putting sides on your dog and that. Early days, it was just straight out to the wing and back again behind you. But when you learn, you can clockwise and anti-clockwise command him. You can you've got full control of your sheep. You know, you can turn them whichever way you want to go with them.
Mhm.
But schools are good for learners, I think, and give you, because you come into it pretty raw and you you don't know what to do with your dog and to improve, and it when you see an experienced handler that's doing good things with his dog, you sort of pick things up yourself and try to bring it into your training. Yeah.
Absolutely. Although you're not working, you haven't worked for a few years now or trial, did you notice a difference over the way people handled stock from when you were younger to as you matured?
Yeah, well, years ago, it was probably you drove your stock. There's a lot of drivers today who they muster with the motorbike and they're on limit. They're on a time limit, I guess. So they want to get them in as best as soon as they can. And they, but back when you worked off the horse and you had long distances to go with the sheep, you had to let them find the lead, and just move them along. You make more pace, I think, in the long run if you get a lead going and let them walk out. You know, if you drive and they start kind of want to ring a bit, I don't think they got the work. Not in all areas anyway. The work for mustering in big paddocks and as I said, off horses, it's a lot slower going than the dog. You know, it's sort of
And you mentioned to Laura and I, you haven't mustered till you mustered off a horse. A special feeling there for you?
yeah, it's good. You you usually don't miss anything in the paddock. Sometimes on the bike you're going a bit fast and you might miss something. But on a horse you can plenty of time to see what's going on as you go around.
Yep.
Usually, in a lot of cases, we might have three blokes mustering the outside fella, sending them into the middle fella, and then referring them to the inside fella off horses. But yeah, you probably do that off bikes too.
Yeah. And did you ever do much work with cattle, or was it mostly sheep?
I used to buy about 500 weaners each year, weaner cattle, and run when I was at, by then I'd moved to Bungonia and I was looking after three properties and used to buy about 500 weaner cattle. But early day we had work cows and calves, but mainly I was 20 odd years at Bungonia where they were all just by young steers in the winter when they're light in condition and take them through to the next spring and you're getting more than double your money for them if your season was right. Yeah.
You were using your same dogs for work that you trialled with as well?
Oh yeah, they were work dog first.
Yeah.
My Kelpies were a work dog first. Yeah, they made your work easy too when you got an all-round dog. You could sort of, the better the dog, I think the easier your work is.
Yeah.
It's like a tradesman if he hasn't got decent tools, I suppose.
Not real good.
No, that's right.
Makes your job a lot harder, right?
It does, yeah. Yeah.
And when you had young dogs coming along, what did you like to see in your young dogs before you moved, or rather than moving on, what made you keep those young dogs?
Yeah, well, as a pup, I might put him around a few little pet mulga sheep and just see what natural work he's got in him. But I'd forgive a little bit of natural work for a good temperament dog because I had a lot and seen a lot of very natural dogs and you can't, they won't let you get hold of their full ability. Whereas if a good temperament dog, you can sort of, as long as he's got some natural ability, you can train him up to what you want him to do. And usually he'll never let you down, whereas the other natural dogs, sometimes if you try to push him too hard, he'll bail out as far as he wants to go. But a good temperament dog, the work gets tougher, the harder he works, and he works for you.
And you're spending a lot of time with your dogs, right? So temperament and nature will be very important to you.
Yeah, very, very important. Yeah. Yeah, I spend a lot I always like stock work and always had plenty of sheep to work, so I liked, I kept them contented with work and they, as I said, they were quite successful at trialing and that too for me.
How did you go about picking a pup for yourself when you had a litter of pups?
Yeah, well, first up, I think you pick the pup you like, but first up, I used to like the big bull one that come out first to you and hit the gate with his paws. But they're usually more yardish, a bit more on the yardish side. Whereas you get that good type pup sort of sitting back watching the others and watching you a bit. They're probably often turn into the better all-round dog. So you want to leave anything that goes back in the kennel a bit frightened. You don't want to touch things.
Yeah.
But,
Like that's average sort of pup these days.
yeah, they often stand out. You can see them watching what's going on, and they're forward enough, but they're not always real at the gate.
And you mentioned, oh, sorry.
You're right.
I was going to say, you mentioned that you like that bowl pup and to get them on your trainer sheet. Did you have a setup that you liked? Like, was it just in the middle of the paddock, or did you like a round yard?
I never had a round yard, but Yeah, as soon as I could, I'd get them out in the paddock away from things and see if they could hold the little mob of sheep, you know. Then I'd like to take them when they were about 7 or 8 months old, take them on a drive at Collingwood. There we had quite a long drive into the shearing sheds from the back paddocks, and you get a mob of about 200 or 300 coming in, and they're older ewes. You know, I'd lead him off first with a couple of good broken in dogs, and then work him off the lead when you want to get a bit of an idea of that. And then when you had a mob that you could had a bit of clear going, I'd put him off on his own and start him giving him a go at handling him himself. When he tired, I'd let the older dogs off, and so he didn't start making too many mistakes as he got tired. But, yeah, good bit of driving. You've got a bit of driving if you've got a fair bit on. It's good education for a young dog. You've got to then work him back onto the head again, because you've started to pull him up a bit on the shoulder. When you got to take him back to holding up the mob again.
Yeah.
Till he starts to get the full idea of it. But they need about probably 18 months of work to become mature, like to be setting their commands.
Did you like them to have their heads a bit, or did you like to have a little bit of command on them most of the time?
Yeah, well, you've got to stop them off the head a bit when you start driving along. First start them out with the older dogs. Of course, otherwise you won't be able to keep the sheep up to the shearer.
Yeah.
But yeah, then, as I said later on, I used to put them on the rope and give them an education on the rope too.
Yep.
But what you put into them is what you get out of them. To me, it wasn't hard to go and work on a dog. Whereas if you neglect them a bit, they get a bit full of it, and it makes it harder for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you've mentioned doing a bit on the rope there. Did you ever do much away from sheep on the rope as well, or was it always in the presence of sheep?
No, it was always dry without sheep.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'd do it in front of the tool shed. Had an area there that I put them on the rope on. But yeah, I'd work them take them into the yards on the rope and teach them to reverse in the drenching race and walk forward. If you do it in the drenching race, they can't swing away from you. They've got to come straight to you, or they can't turn tail. You have a rope on them. If they go to turn tail, you straighten them up.
Yeah.
And they learn to walk backwards then on give the command. I used to give a voice and a whistle command, and they learn both of them. They respond to both of them. So yeah, and there's a lot of work you can do in the yard too, with reversing them off the mob and walking them up to the mob and stopping when they get as close as you want them. But Yeah, you can do a lot of circle work in the yard with them too.
Yep.
But they're yeah, if you got a good temperament dog, he becomes a good friend too, and he likes to go out working with you.
Always good when you enjoy the people you work with, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Makes the day go quicker and enjoyable.
One thing, if you have an argument with a dog, he'll jump back and lick your hand, whereas if you have an argument with a fellow worker, he'll usually get the huffs and
Walk off.
well,
Did you?
Sorry, you go, Laura.
I was just gonna say, did you favour a paddock dog over a yard dog, even though you like that all-round dog?
it had to be an all-round dog for me, especially when I was working a lot of sheep, doing a lot of hard work with them. Because if you've got a paddock dog, you've got to go and then tie him up and get a yard dog and have a yard dog. So if you can get it all in one, if you're doing a lot of work, you can have it. If you've got a couple of dogs, you can change it, give them a swap over and things like that.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a bit earlier about Pat getting a few bitches after he'd won these few trials there. Obviously, in yourself there, what did how do I put this? Would you just let him go to any bitch, or did you have to like proof the bitches yourself, or like the bitches that you let him go over?
Selective about them.
Not really, but they were usually other trialers that get that close into the breeding of dogs and what a dog's performance is. So Billy Luffin, he brought a bitch up, but she didn't go into pup for him. But he's another good handler. Chris and I bred a few that Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember turning any away, but as I said, he didn't breed for that long. I was just lucky to get what I got, and he seemed to be he was a good sire, he didn't throw many, I don't remember any dad pups at all. But
They've got some handy progeny that I know a bit diluted these days, but there's still some progeny out there that have a bit of his blood in there and some pretty successful dogs at that.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of them. It was a very successful mating, really. It's a pity it didn't keep going, but we don't have much say in those things.
No, we don't.
That's it.
And we've mentioned trialing a few times there, mate. How many years?
How many years what was the question again?
He's just frozen on us. I think it was, how many years did you trial for?
Yeah, I must have been about 50 years. Probably about 50 years. Yeah, at Bura was a utility trial with a dog called Paladin Rex that I had.
Yeah.
It was all Scanlon blood. Very good all-round station dog.
Yep.
But he lacked a little bit of walk-up strength. He'd force up, but he wouldn't. On a few said if you had him using his eye and that he sometimes lacked a little bit of walk-up strength.
Yeah. And were you successful in that first one?
Yeah, I trialled him a bit, but he was my excellent station dog.
Yeah.
He done a lot of work for me. But, he was about the last of a good station, Scanlon Blood matings. I don't know whether I had one after he wasn't so good, but Tony Parsons brought a bit down to join to him after watching him work. Tony used to like them if they had their tail up or things like that. So he's pretty particular in what he demanded in the dog. So he thought he was all right. So,
What was it? What was it about the trialing that you enjoyed?
It was, I suppose you take your dog out and show what you can do with him, but I was intrigued with it really. Something I had to master, and it was good relaxation and most of the time. And we travelled, we wouldn't have travelled like we did. We travelled all over the southern states and over to the west and that, and Tasmania. Had some good trips with fellow trialers heading across the Tassie and on the boat. Yeah, it was good life. Yeah.
That's it. You said earlier you went to America. What were you doing over there with the dogs?
No, I didn't take the dog over there. I went over there and did some schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Iowa. But yeah.
Were their dogs very different to ours?
Yeah, well, you never see, I think the 1,000 sheep was the biggest place I saw. Most of them, the mobs are about 50 or 60. If they do it, they do a lot of corn growing and beans and that in that area, and they just have the sheep eating out along the areas where they can't farm. But they don't, their dogs wouldn't head. I tried to get them to teach their dogs to head and bring them back to them, but they didn't want to head much. You can see a few different breeds of dogs too, like a few blue cattle dogs coming down to the school. There's a few collies there that English collies that they get a chance on breaks, so I give him what the free breaks, so I give him what for. A lot of them, I know there was a couple came out and they were both doctors, and they had an air conditioning set up in there with a trailer and van. And that's the only way they can keep their dogs any cheap work,
Yeah.
So,
I lost you guys for a little bit there earlier, so I apologise for that. And I don't know if Laura asked, but did you have a favourite trial to participate in yourself?
I spent a favourite dog trial. I always enjoyed Malon, the state titles as a sheep. were very lively early, but that's in 3 sheep, and they on the last 2 days they were very good, running a good score on them. I know I ran an 8 with a collie dog, a 98. I went in to the final with him, and his feet jumped the fence, and next minute they're up the creek.
Pretty
So,
tough showground, was it?
but they were good when they were right. Usually it goes for the full week, so usually Friday, Saturday, and then I finish about midday Sunday. Especially Saturday, usually real good. Running a score on them there. But in the yard trial, I've done hard to think of a favourite one. It's the first yard trial way back. Only the first yard trial in the state was at Wagga Yard. Wagga used to hold the yard dog trial there. And Dolphin Vale Timmy won up there. Yeah, we won up there too. Won up there with, with an 8-month-old pup, and he won the novice when he was there. Tap on the oven. That was always a good trial. Yeah, obviously like them when you get good success at them.
Yes. Makes it a bit more enjoyable.
That's right.
And what do you think your best trialing achievement was?
I suppose winning the national Kelpie trials. I suppose we won the first one at Palmsley Farm. I think Chris Staple and I ran off in the final. The father against son. The dog Pat and Target was Chris had Target was a son of Pat's.
Yep.
We got success there, so that was very good.
Fantastic.
Pretty cool to have the father and son there running off for first place of a national event. It's pretty
Yeah.
for both of you guys. So
It was, yeah. But there's been a few. The champions, we won it one day. We did 20 years demonstrating with the dogs at Sydney Show too.
Oh wow. What did the Champions of Champions consist of?
It was the Olympic year, so we ended up getting in the Olympic Games, the opening ceremony. There was 2 dogs from each state actually, yeah. And that title is to get into the opening ceremony. We were working wheelbarrows.
and was that a utility?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was your favourite form of trialing?
Yeah, well, probably did more yard trialing, but because there wasn't the utility trials or as many utility trials around, but I always liked, I suppose, the utility trial to give you more of your dog's attributes, give them more exposure, like his paddock work and and the yard work. But I think it's more the ultimate dog. A lot of you've got a dog's like that. He's got the paddock and yard work in him, so you've got more to work on there. You've got to get control of each component. But you've got to learn about what you've got to train your dog for. Like naturally when you first go outside, your dogs are too hard, so you got to work at getting distance on him and calming the sheep down and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a more challenging, but yeah, I did a lot of yard trialing. Started the yard specialised milk actually. Steve Williams started it off first and was folded. It wasn't ready for it then, but I started a bit later and really
Yeah.
pretty popular today.
It is, mate. A very popular sport, and it's just a great way to catch up with like-minded people and see a few good dogs at the same time.
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Jim, thank you very much for your time this evening, mate. We've appreciated it immensely. I've been wanting to have a chat to you for a long time, so really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. It's good to talk about dogs and maybe hand a few clues on to trainers. Yeah.
No, absolutely, man. And yourself and Jan are residing up north these days?
Yeah.
Close to family?
Near Lismore, which you've heard plenty of just lately with the floods, but we're in high ground, so. But my daughter lives at Balna. They get a little bit of water in their house. But yeah, it's good to catch up with the daughter and the grandkids. And Jan's still pretty active, so she lends a fair hand.
That's fantastic, mate. It's great to see you've got family, close to your family, and got your young kids around.
Yeah, good.
Fantastic. Sorry.
Thank
Is that far enough?
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you. I'll do the technology for Dad and turn it off for him.
Thank you so much for helping him with it all. It's really been good to catch up with him.
No
Absolutely.
worries.
Thank you for everyone's time.
I don't know how to switch it on.
No one does. All right,
You
have a good
have a great night.
night. Okay.
Catch you
bye.
later.
Thank you.